guys, so today we're going to be doing something a little bit different than my normal type of content. First off, I want to apologize for the quality of the webcam. I know it's not the best quality, but we're going to work with what we have. So I have a couple of inspirations that led me to making these reaction videos. I just could not leave this where it was. I have to give my opinion on this. I just think some people are really uninformed, and I don't claim to know better, and I also don't want to spew hate to anyone, and this is not what this video is about. This video is also not about getting clout or anything. First off, I don't want her clout because that's just going to be a couple of Christian people who's going to judge everything I do, and I don't really want that. So we're going to be reacting to Jessica Joy, and the video I want to be reacting on today is How I Was Deceived in New Age Beliefs, My Testimony. I've been seeing a couple of these videos circulating around, so let's take a look today to what Jessica Joy has to say about her testimony.
I was on Instagram probably like about a week ago, and I was on the Explore page, and I ran into this thread, and it said how to lucid dream. And basically, I'm pretty sure all you guys know what a thread is. It's just like people posting picture after picture of how to do something. A lot of people on the comments were commenting like, oh, I'm gonna try this out, I'm gonna go do it today, and I'll come back and I'll let you guys know how it went and stuff. And I used to do this a lot. I used to do like astral projecting and lucid dreaming, a lot of things with meditation, chakra meditation, clairvoyance practices, telekinesis, really anything of the new age. That's what I would do. I used to do that heavily for about 4 years. So I went ahead and I commented on the thread, and I said, this is allowing access to demonic possession. And I had surprisingly 75 likes and over 70 comments asking me, can I prove it, or can I send them the testimony to my experience? So basically what I want to do right now is just go ahead and talk to you guys about my experiences, so you guys can be a little bit more open-minded into what you're actually getting yourself into if you are doing it, and if you were thinking about doing it. This is the reality of it, and I just want to go ahead and warn you guys and hopefully stop many of you. A lot of the people that I sent my testimony to, the written one, they were all very shocked, and they were just kind of, even some of them considered themselves Christian and yet didn't know anything about this.
Okay, so a little bit of information on what she said so far about the demonic possession when you do things like astral traveling and all of these new age things. First off, yes, it is possible for demonic things to influence you when doing these things, but it all depends on your mindset. A demon cannot possess you without consent or permission, and also doing new age things is not permission for demons to enter. The thing is, mostly you need to practice cleansing and protecting when you are into spirituality, because being into spirituality and having a higher level of awareness does attract negative entities and toxic people even. So you do need to cleanse yourself and protect your aura from these negative things. You can't just go sit down and meditate or astral travel without protecting and cleansing your environment. Cleansing comes first. So you want to cleanse your environment, and then you want to protect the environment, whether that is with a protective candle or maybe just envisioning protective aura around you. There's actually something they call the Christ light, where you envision a white light surrounding you to protect you from negative entities. So I just thought that was a little interesting and just a little something I wanted to add here so long. So there's an entire page of stuff she put here of info. I'm going to try to read it for you guys. Okay, so she asked, in case you don't know what the New Age movement is, and then she listed all of these things that she said, please pause and read. So I have that here, and I'm going to try to read this to you guys. It is monism, the belief that all is one and one is all. History is not the story of humanity's fall into sin and its restoration by God's saving grace. Rather, it is humanity's fall into ignorance and the gradual ascent into enlightenment. All is God, all is one, including God, then one must conclude that all is God. In pantheism theories, snails, books, and people are all of one divine essence, a personal God who has revealed himself in the Bible and in Jesus Christ is completely rejected since God is impersonal. The New Ager doesn't have to serve him, God, as an it or a he. There is a change in consciousness. If we are God, we need to know we are God. We must become cosmically conscious, enlightened, or attuned to the cosmic consciousness. Time we reach this enlightenment status will claim to be born again, a counterfeit of biblical controversion. The essence is not whether we believe or meditate, but who we believe in and what we meditate upon. Christ is the true personal objective reality. As he said, he is the way, the truth, the life, and no one comes to the Father except through him. A cosmic evolutionary optimism is thought there there is a new age coming. There will be a new world order, a new world government. New age thinkers believe that there will eventually be a progressive unification of world consciousness. This, according to the Bible, is counterfeit kingdom ruled or led by Satan himself. Christ is the true kingdom and he will one day rule the earth with peace and with peace for all who accept him as savior and king. Then they just put a Bible verse there, which I'm not gonna read. You guys can read that yourselves. New Agers create their own reality. They believe they can create reality by what they believe, and changing by changing what they believe. They can change reality. All moral boundaries have been erased. There are no absolutes because there are no distinction between good and evil. Nothing is reality until one says that it is reality or says that it is truth. If infinite man can create truth, we are desperate trouble in our society. We are in desperate trouble in our society. Unless there is ethereal absolutes from the eternal God, man will eventually be his own destruction. So the last one there really is what kind of ticked me a little bit, and I will explain why. New Agers make contact with the kingdom of darkness, calling a medium a channeler and a demon a spirit guide has not changed the reality of what they are. This is the kingdom of darkness of which Satan is the head. Those involved with this kind of activity are in contact with a world that is totally opposed to the biblical God revealed to us by Jesus Christ who defeated Satan, and then another Bible verse. Okay, so they basically just assume that everything that's New Age is somehow demonic, of the darkness and of the devil. In fact, most New Agers don't recognize the existence of God, and a lot of New Agers also follow different religions as Wicca, paganism, and things like that. So I just thought this was really interesting that she just kind of just said that. I don't really know where she got that info from. I assume it's the page she shared there, but that's a lack of information. I just feel a lot of these people in these testimony things that were involved with New Age and now became saved or whatever, and they basically, what I just feel that they're doing is they got scared because they didn't do it right and they didn't protect themselves and things like that. So they got scared because most of them have a history of some kind of trauma or mental illness, and so they have this darker type of energy in them, even though they don't really acknowledge that. And those things attract demonic forces. I mean, demonic forces feed on fear and negativity and things like that. So I just feel that, they did it wrong, or they got scared of it. They basically decided everything of it's just evil, and then they just turned to God, which is, in a sense, I don't oppose Christianity or God in any kind of way, but the thing that's ticking me off is the people who basically abuse God. And why I use the word abuse here is basically they just want to list a couple of things they say as facts, but the facts has no context. There is no reference. They just want to list it as facts, and then they call it a fact because they listed a Bible verse that has some, little bit of, uh, just a little bit of relevance to what they're trying to say. And it's like they can't really give you a reason why they believe what they believe. It's just like, why do you believe what you believe? And their reaction is just like, because God. Why aren't we allowed to do this? Because God. They don't actually give you a real explanation to why. So hopefully we'll get a little bit more context in the rest of this video. Let's find out.
Without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and share my story with you guys. I first started this meditation process when I was about 12 years old. My parents were going through a divorce, and around that time I had a lot of depression and anxiety, so I wasn't eating very well, and my dad decided to take me to the doctors. Every doctor that I went to would basically prescribe me medication and would just give me all this type of stuff that I didn't want to take, because inside in my spirit I even knew that that medication wasn't going to help me. After so many doctors that my dad was taking me to and he didn't see any progress, I ended up going to this other doctor. He was still in a clinic. It was a real doctor. And I explained to him how everywhere that I went, basically they all wanted me to take medicine, and I really wasn't trying to do that. And he agreed with me. He was like, yeah, you don't have to take medicine. What you can do is start meditating. The way he explained meditating to me sounded just so, so simple and so easy.
Okay. Just quickly want to interrupt her here and say that if doctors tell you to take medicine, maybe that's not the bad choice there. I mean, a lot of New Age practitioners that use herbs and crystals and things for healing or meditation, a lot of them still use modern medicine because some things, you just need medicine and doctors for. So she has a history here of some mental things going on, and I called it. Like, I did not watch this video beforehand. I just skipped through some parts, and I just thought the title really drew my attention. I basically watched the first minute of it. I was like, I'm gonna react to this with you guys because I really want to share this, because I cannot, like, do this alone. I don't want to watch this alone, guys. Just bear with me. Let's see what she has to say.
Easy, and so it just sounded very right. He just basically told me that it was getting to know me and it was getting to tune in with myself, and he just made it sound perfect. And that's exactly what I wanted at the time. I just wanted to find myself again. I wanted to have joy again and happiness in my life, because I just felt like everything around me was falling apart. But right after that doctor appointment, I ended up going home. And when I got home, I just remember I went on YouTube. And on YouTube, I basically searched meditation music. I wanted to kind of like get in the zone of it. I didn't really know how to do it, and yeah, so I started meditating with music, and I just kind of would lay there and I would just play music and kind of just relax. And at first it seemed really nice and stuff, but sooner or later I started looking at the suggestion videos, and a lot of them were like how to find your spiritual self, how to find spiritual guides, inner peace, mental health, all of these other things. And I was just really intrigued by that, because like that's really what I wanted. It went from just me finding a thing to help me relax to me being on this mission and finding who I really was. I really believed I was an indigo child. For indigo child, for those that don't know, are children who are...
Okay, so I just want to say indigo children are a very rare phenomenon. It's not common that you find someone who actually possesses like supernatural traits and abilities. I mean, yes, you have your psychics and your empaths and things, but indigo children is something else, though. That's something that's very rare, and it does happen that sometimes people possess this kind of weird supernatural ability that enables them to do things that normal human beings cannot do. So this will be maybe like element bending and things of that nature, but it's very rare, though. So it's rare that she kind of thought that she was, because this is a really uncommon thing. Maybe throughout history, there was just, I don't even think there was like 500 people who possessed these abilities. Of course, to the New Age concepts, with all of these trending things going on, a lot more people believe they're star seeds and indigo children. So yes, due to all of these social media and trending things, it has become a little bit more known of, and a lot of people, some things go to their head and then they try to make sense of everything, but they try to take too much information at once and then it kind of gets cluttered.
To possess special, unusual, and sometimes supernatural traits and abilities. So I really believed that because I was like, if I'm being called from being a normal person that believes in religion and I'm being called to find my inner God, you can say, I'm an indigo child. I'm somebody that stands apart from everybody, and I don't need to. I really don't need to go to anybody else but myself to make myself feel better. One meditation led to another, literally. I started spending about no less than 2 hours a day to 6 hours a day or even more. Many times I wasn't even going to school anymore. I would just stay in my house and I just wanted to meditate, and I really wanted to reach this higher self.
Excuse me there. Did I just hear 6 hours? I'm gonna, um, if you start meditating, if you've never done that before, you should take it slow. Maybe 2 minutes at a time, 5 minutes at a time. I've been doing this for what, 2, 3 years now, and I mean, I like do the longest meditation I've actually done was I've done a couple of sessions after each other, and the longest that I did it as a whole was probably like 30, 40 minutes. Sister, no, let's just hear the rest of this. I'm just still trying to process this.
I'm not sure if this is going to make sense to a lot of people, but the deeper you can meditate, the more you can connect to yourself. And that was my goal. I really wanted to find my inner God. So soon enough, I ran into chakra meditation. Chakras are described.
Okay, quick interruption. She wanted to find her inner God. That is actually kind of incorrect. It's an incorrect term to put it. Basically, she wanted to find her soul. She wanted to connect with her soul, her inner self, not her inner God. Um, I mean, in context, technically, uh, through my weird beliefs, I do believe technically we are little parts of God. Like we're made in the image of God, technically, therefore, we are all made of God's essence. So finding inner God, it's not a complete incorrect term. I just think what she rather meant to say is she's trying to find her inner self and connect with her soul there. Oh, and now we're getting into chakras, which also revolves around the soul. So let's see where this is gonna go.
As psychic energy centers. And there claims to be 7 different chakras, and the chakra that I was intrigued by.
Incorrect. There are not just 7 chakras. I just need to interrupt this. There's a million chakras all over your body. A chakra is basically a little trigger point to your soul, and people use this to heal different things. There are 7 main chakras, yes, but there are not just 7 chakras.
Hand symbolic gestures. They're called.
Okay, I just need to interrupt here again. She started chanting. Okay, there is just this thing that sometimes if you start doing the chanting thing with your meditation, sometimes if you do not pronunciate the chants correctly, sometimes they can have a different effect if you don't pronounce them exactly how they're supposed to be pronounced. Sometimes it can have a negative effect if you pronounce them wrong. And also the hand gestures, she's getting into that now. The hand gesture thing too, if you don't do it correctly and if you don't have training or really any previous knowledge or actually trained to do this and you do it wrong, sometimes it can have a different or opposite effect.
Mudra or mudra. I'm not very sure how you pronounce it. I'll put it on the screen so you guys can know what they're called. And these hand gestures are found in Hinduism and Buddhism and in yoga. So yoga itself also is a gate for this type of demonic possession. And astrology became my go-to in knowing people.
Yoga is exercise. It has, yes, it it releases trigger points and things in your body and releases blockages, but by no means is that a form of demonic possession at all. Yoga is exercise. It's stretching and exercise. I actually do yoga combined with cardio, which is it's quite a workout because I can't do many workouts with my heart condition. The only workouts I can do is swimming, horseback riding, and yoga. And also, I sometimes do dance exercising, which is also helpful, but I can't do really anything too straining and too heavy for my heart condition. So, yoga is a really good exercise, but I only use like very minor, mild cardio with that. And it's really helpful. I mean, it actually helps you with your blood circulation a lot. It helps, with releasing blockages. I actually have this problem with my wrist and with my left leg since I've been in a horse accident. So, the yoga really releases those blockages and those pains in you. So, in demonic possession, I know. Just know. That's all I have to say about that.
Anybody that I met, I could just look at their characteristics and be like, oh, you fall under this zodiac, or you hold these characteristics because of it. And I was so into the zodiacs. I was so into astrology. I just loved it. My whole life revolved around it. I wanted to ace it. And soon enough, I started doing the practices, like I said, like clairvoyance and practicing telekinesis and all of these other things. And I also, towards the end of my time doing all these things, I was seeing auras on people. However, once I started doing this very religiously, I'm telling you, every day I would do it for at least 2 hours to 6 hours or even more. Whenever I would be meditating, I would start feeling presences. Like I would feel somebody in my room. I could feel something lay across me. And I kid you not, I did everything to protect me during the times that I was meditating, because there were such things as bad energies that could come into your consciousness or whatever and try to harm you and da da da. But our
Okay, so she did say there that she did protect herself and everything. So what I also just thought maybe, um, she felt different energies, like maybe ancestors or spirit guides, and they maybe, she felt them, and she got freaked out because it does freak out a lot of people. I also noticed she has a little cat over there. When you have animals, they're very, connected to the spirit realm, and if they acted weirdly, that would indicate anything negative. But cats are especially really um in tune, so I don't know about that.
practicing telekinesis and all of these other
So
things.
yeah,
And I also, towards the end of my time doing all these things, I was seeing auras on
since she
people.
was seeing
However,
auras
once I
too.
started doing this very religiously, I'm telling you, every day I would do it for at least 2 hours to 6 hours or even more. Whenever I would be meditating, I
See, the 2 6 hour thing is bothering me. I just skipped a little back there because I just wanted to hear that again. 2 to 6 hours of like meditation or telekinesis or whatever she was doing. That's that's too much, okay? Like you're tapping into your energy here. And also afterwards, if you do not ground yourself, that can also have negative effects and you'll still be stuck in the spirit realm. So basically, yes, that could act like an open doorway. If you don't ground yourself afterwards, after you've done a lot of spiritual work, you need grounding afterwards. Otherwise, you're still going to be in the spiritual headspace, and some things can, follow you about your day. And if you go into dips of downness or upsetness or sadness or depression or whatever, you open up that channel, to darker things, even though you protected yourself during your whole meditation thing. So yeah, that's interesting. But I do notice the cat though. Like cats are very spiritual. If it was anything demonic, she would have noticed the animal acting weird. And dogs too. Dogs are very spiritual too. Any animal acting weird, they're very in tune with the spiritual realm. So this is just, her animal seems very chill over there, but this is like after she repented, according to her, from the new age. But the cat's really fine. It's fine. Like, I don't see anything wrong there, and she didn't mention anything about an animal acting strange. There's just, that's kind of what I'm stuck on right now. Is let's just go on with the video.
would start feeling presences. Like I would feel somebody in my room. I could feel something lay across me. And I kid you not, I did everything to protect me during the times that I was meditating, because there were such things as bad energies that could come into your consciousness or whatever and try to harm you and da da da. But I didn't know that these energies are demons. These demons are real. They convince you that they're not demons and that they're energies and that there's good energies and whatnot. No, there's no such thing. These things are demons, okay? That's the
Yeah, okay. So basically, here also she makes the assumption that any kind of spirit is a demonic spirit. You get so many types of spirits. There are fallen angels, you get your demons. The worst ones are the fallen angels, though. Then you get your demons. Then you have like your spirit guides, you have your ancestors, you have people who have passed on that connect to you. It could be before you were born or after you were born that died during your lifetime that tried to help you and guide you. There could also be deities or sometimes even animal spirits that are trying to help you and connect with you. Maybe they were just trying to assist her, but if it's a demon, like honestly, I say this to people a lot. I just feel like I say this too much. If it's a demon, you're gonna know it's a demon. Okay? Like I have had contact with demons. Like I have seen demons twice in my life. They're not really common, to see them, and yeah, they I had some incidents with demonic entities, so I know what it's like. And from what she's explaining so far, it doesn't sound demonic because it doesn't sound like it reached that level yet. Like demons, it's a whole nother ball game. Let's just continue. Maybe she'll give us a little bit more context to why she thinks it's demons.
One thing you guys need to really grasp onto and just kind of like let go of everything else that they try to tell you. It's not true. These are demons. I remember that I got to a point of feeling that I was just this really like different special person with this practices, that I could go into a store and into even school or hanging out with my friends, and when I would be with them, I just felt like everybody was lost. I just honestly looked at everybody like, oh my god, you are so dumb, like you just don't understand the world, you haven't found yourself, you're not woke. You know what I mean? That's what people call it, like being woke. I was just like, you guys are sheep, like you guys don't even know what you're doing, you guys don't even know who you are. It made me really cut off a lot of people because I just felt like everybody was lost, and I started isolating myself a lot more than usual. And that was very rare because I was a very outgoing person before my anxiety and depression and everything. Like I was such an outgoing person, and then I started realizing, if this is supposed to help me find myself, then why am I isolating myself again? I'm pushing everybody away. Another side of me was like, well, I'm being
Okay, real talk here. Yeah, self isolation is a common thing when you go into spirituality. I mean, she said she did 2 to 6 hours with these meditation kind of things, which means she's probably drained spiritually. I did the isolation thing too. Occasionally, I still do. Like, sometimes you just like need time to get away from everyone and their energies, because when you get into spirituality, you become more sensitive to other people's energies and energies around you, and that can influence you and drain you, and you're going to feel more tired. You're just not going to feel like you want to deal with people. Actually, this week I've been feeling a lot more social, and I've been interacting a lot more with people. It's just like these little phases you get when you're into this spirituality. So it just seems to me that, some ancestors or some were trying to contact her and they just like freaked her out. And I just don't really think this is demonic as far as I can like tell here. But I do think that this whole thing where she withdrew herself, they call it hermit mode. A lot of spiritual people go through it because you are more in touch with your spiritual self, you're more in touch with energy, you're more in touch with energy around you, because spirituality is technically energy work. So, yeah.
rewarded, I'm being set apart, I'm being different than everybody else. So that's really what kept me on. Like that's really what made me keep going. During this entire process, I was having really weird times where I would have visions and just really paranormal things started happening to me. And I grew up Catholic, so there was some things that I was like, okay, that's not normal. But I wasn't really devoted to being a Catholic, as you can tell. I was agnostic, so I believed that there was a God. I just didn't know who God was. I started thinking that God was the universe. So a lot of things that I would notice, I was just like, whoa, like that's scary. For example, there would be times where I would have visions during my meditations, and I wouldn't even know whether they were real or not. There was one time that I had this vision where I was running away from a demon. And when the demon caught up to me, it bit my arm. Like it literally, like I remember when I turned and I looked at it, the demon launched on me and grabbed my arm very hard. And the bite that I felt woke me up. And when I woke up, I felt that bite. I still felt it and it physically hurt me still. And that was really scary to me because I was like, whoa, what was that? I thought it was a dream, but I can feel it. There was times where I would be woken up and I would feel something pull my leg. And I remember when this happened, it just literally scared me because it pulled my leg very hard. I literally got dragged for a little bit and I was
Okay, so this is a little bit more interesting and on point to demonic type activity. But what I'm noticing here, like the vision thing is completely normal. Like if you get the visions and things, I too like have occasionally demonic things coming in to try and threaten me and scare me because that's what they want to do because they don't want you to ascend and evolve and, be awake and spiritual. Because technically, I believe the world's run by Satanists and they are trying to keep everyone asleep. So they don't like the spiritual people, and I think that's why they're sending the demons, especially to scare the spiritual people. And apparently, with her case, it did work. The demons did scare. The only advice I can give if something like this is happening is do protect yourself and, cleanse and protect is the best things. If it gets too scary, go to a church. I know the Catholic churches, they mostly do, exorcisms if it does evolve to that point. But churches in general, maybe they can just give you a blessing. But I have a couple of videos on my channel about cleansing and protecting if anyone's interested. But demons are targeting spiritual people, especially. It's a very common thing. It's a very common. And the thing is, fear is just an illusion. And they want to push this illusion upon the people to try and keep them asleep. So that's just like, you know, it's gonna happen if you're into spirituality, but don't let it scare you because they can't do anything to you. The physical thing she's experiencing here, they're literally just trying to scare her because they just touched her. It didn't leave any permanent marks or any severe injury, which is good. If it does revolve into severe injury, then probably you should try consulting maybe a church or someone that's just a little bit more experienced in the spiritual things.
just like afraid. They started getting worse though. There was one time where I had my best friend over and it was just me and her in my house. And I guess I had invited her to come eat with me and stuff. So she was sitting in the table, in the kitchen table, and I had my back against her because I was washing dishes. And when I was washing the dishes, in the midst of me turning to look at her, because I was, like I said, I had my back on her. When I turned around to see her, in a second, like everything just went slow motion. I don't even know how to explain it, but as I was turning, like my vision just kind of focused at the wall that was right there in front of me. And in that wall, I remember a demon just manifested right there in front of me. And I don't want to go into detail of how it looked because it was just very terrible. But the demon manifested right there, and I just got in this shock and I yelled really, really, really hard. And she can stand by this. And she started screaming too because I screamed. Like I literally screamed like I was about to get killed. And she was like, what, what's going on? And I started explaining to her what I was seeing. And then she's just like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I mean, I don't see it. Like she didn't see anything. It made me think to myself, oh my God, these things are following me even when I'm not channeling them. Like I wasn't channeling them to begin with. In my head, I wasn't, I was like, I just want good vibes. But these things are what's the reality of it. This is what you're channeling. You're not channeling these good vibes, okay? No. And whatever protection you use, whatever angels and guidances you use to protect you, they are not, you can't fight these demons with demons, okay? So anyway, I remember that it sounds funny now, but she went on her phone.
I literally just like went WTF there. Like, so basically she's saying angels are demons now. Like, if you're trying to communicate with an angel, it's not an angel, it's a demon. What the hell? Like, I mean, okay, but the demon she saw, it's a little interesting that she chose not to explain what it looked like because that would help make her story more believable. Not saying she's faking it, I also don't like to talk about it because it is really scary when you see it. I have learned not to fear him anymore because it's kind of like normal now. And actually, there's actually some demons that aren't even like really threatening or, very violent even. But yeah, some of them are like very menacing and very scary, and they tried to put the scary appearance. Like I said, they were trying to scare you. That's what they are trying to do, and not everything you're trying to channel is demonic. You cannot channel or summon a demon by accident. You cannot worship the devil by accident. It has to be voluntary. You actually have to do it knowingly, okay? Like, yeah.
And she was like, this, that, like, what is this, like, what is this, like, it looks like this, it looks like that. I just remember I went in a shock and I was like, no one's gonna know what I'm saying. Like, no one understands what I'm saying. No one even, I don't even know if they believe me. And she's a very awesome person, so I know she took my word for it. But it was just the fact that I was like, oh my god, I'm messing with something very, very demonic. So that really scared me. And I remember I was just like, okay, I need to chill on everything that I'm doing because obviously something's really going on. I just started kind of stopping it, but just like minimizing it. So it went from like 6 hours to 2 hours to kind of just like 30 minutes a day. I will look on YouTube like how to close my third eye, because if you open it, you have to close it or something like that. But that's not true. Okay, you need Jesus, and I'm so serious. I'm not even playing.
Okay, the thing about the third eye, though, when you open your third eye, did you really think you're just gonna see nice love and light everywhere? No, you're gonna see everything. Okay, you're gonna see into dimensions. You're gonna see demons occasionally. You're gonna see spirits. You're gonna see things that you don't always want to see. It's not a pleasant experience, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat and say that it is. I mean, I'm a spiritual person. I deal with this shit every day. The Jesus thing though is a little, that's a little much, honey. That's a little much. Like, you just need to not be afraid. That's what you need. But okay, just I agree with you needing to chill, but the Jesus parts, that's a little much. I mean, no offense to anyone who does the Christian thing. I have nothing against God, and I do. I'm what they call like a eclectic practitioner. Like, I take little bits of different religions that resonates with me and incorporate that. But yeah, the Jesus thing here is, it's not bad though. Like, a lot of the, if you truly do believe in something and you believe it's gonna work, it will work. So a lot of demonic entities get um, really offended by any sacramental items, any like crosses, any religious items. They get kind of like taken back by it because Christianity is a really big religion, so there's a lot of belief in these objects and in the religion itself, which is why it does work to get rid of these entities. In native times, like smudging and things actually came from Native Americans. They also were very spiritual people, and they got rid of bad entities and things by smudging, which is usually sage or rosemary or some kind of herbs that you burn and it makes smoke. But let's continue.
Like, you actually need Jesus to you need to repent for what you're doing, okay? And you need Jesus to deliver you from that, because you have opened yourself to some really, really bad things. At that time I didn't know that, so I just started going on YouTube like how to close my third eye, da 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 da, and I thought I closed it. So I was like, okay. During the entire process of me finding my inner self, I was into psychedelics a lot so that I can just meditate better and stuff. I had taken it multiple times, so it wasn't out of the ordinary. And it wasn't until one time where I was with some friends and
Okay, so with the whole psychedelic thing here, when you do drugs, you open yourself, your third eye, to all of these demonic entities and energies, okay? Like, you can use protection and sometimes smudging and things work, but it depends on you and your inner self, okay? Like, if you do drugs and psychedelics and things, the situation is a little different. She has history of depression and emotional trauma things, which means she's more prone to having a bad experience, a bad trip, and therefore also being more prone to attracting all of these negative things that she's been experiencing. Okay, she's more prone to that, and also she really like admitted like this right now. Like, she did this to herself technically, because New Age and things is not inherently evil or demonic or anything of this nature. Like, for example, a Ouija board is just a Ouija board, and if you are like a bad depressed person, you're gonna have a bad experience, or you have a higher chance of having a bad experience. But if you're a good uplifting person, you might have a better chance of having a good experience with the thing. I mean, it in itself is just a piece of wood. It's just a board, okay? It's just what you put into it that ultimately, um, it's ultimately going to be like what you experience. So here, like, if you do any kind of psychedelic things, you're really open to any type of energies. And if you have inner things that you have not worked through, you're more prone to attracting these things. So what she said earlier about the demon makes completely sense. And also, she's that meditation thing was just way too long. I cannot get over that. So let's
My friend had
continue.
picked me up and he picked up my cousin and stuff. So we were all just gonna hang out and go to the city and chill out. So that day I took a tab and I just remember feeling so nauseous.
Okay, so she was talking about nausea, and then she got nauseous and had to go to the bathroom. She was feeling cold and hot. What? Yeah, hot and cold. Okay, so she was having hot flushes and feeling nauseous when she was talking about this, which is also means that she's not completely. It's nothing to do with the demons at this point. This is just her inner energies because she has the depression thing. This is all technically her, and the nausea thing that she experienced after the psychedelics, that does happen. I mean, any of you who actually does those things know that is some possible thing that can happen. It's actually called purging, though you release all of that bad, toxic, negative things in your body. But sometimes, if you hit the greenies, that's not a nice thing. So while she was talking about this, she also had the nausea. It's quite interesting. Let's continue.
So, in an attempt to make myself feel better and take away the nauseous feeling that I was feeling and the weird sensations in my body, I laid back in the seat and I started doing the breathing techniques that I knew for meditation. And it hit me. I was like, why don't I just meditate right now, especially if like that's exactly what I do whenever I feel this sort of way. Sure enough, I start meditating and then I remember during the meditation, I'm not sure how long I was doing it for, probably well over 10 minutes, and I started losing feeling in my legs. Like I remember I touched my legs and I was like, am I like tweaking right now, or why can I feel my legs? And I remember that I was starting to touch my hands, like doing this, and I couldn't feel my fingers and I couldn't feel my hands anymore. And that started really freaking me out. I knew I was like in my.
Okay, so this is actually a common thing that happens to people who use psychedelics and drugs. You cannot feel certain parts of your body. This is actually nothing to do with spirituality, but I think I have a feeling what she's going to say next. She's going to say it feel like she was in her body, but she's not in her body, and it felt like she was astral traveling or something of this nature. But this is actually just the effect of the substance that she took that I feel here.
Body because I could make myself clamp my hands or move my toes, but I couldn't feel it. I was like, oh my god, am I still in my body? And this is while I'm like meditating, So I have my eyes closed and everything. And in a split of a second, you guys, I kid you not, I just like get out of my body. I see myself laying there in the car. Like I don't see anything else. I just see my body.
Okay, so this is what is called astral projection, and she had an outer body experience here, whether it was this is definitely unprovoked. Sometimes this can also happen with certain types of psychedelics, not all of them. Certain types can give you out of body experiences, and it can be a very frightening experience. But I also get a feeling here that her ego is what kept her from her spiritual thing here, because she tried to do all this spiritual stuff, but her ego was kind of in the way here, which is also contributing to the bad experiences, but that might just be a personal opinion.
So yeah, I was out of my body. Mind you, this was something that I always wanted to achieve and I had done to a certain extent, but I had never fully saw myself like that. I don't even know how long I saw myself there for, if I could guess, because time went kind of irrelevant at this point. But If I could guess, I saw myself for probably about 8-10 seconds, and I just started freaking out. Like, I just started like touching my body, like I was just trying to wake myself up. If you guys know anything about meditation, you can't just like snap out of it. You have to start with your toes and kind of make yourself up again and start waking your body up. And no, I was just like, oh my god, I need to get out of this state. I don't know where I just went in, but I need to not ever go there again, because the feeling I felt when I saw myself out of my body, I was like,
Okay, this is actually really interesting. People have different reactions to this. Some people have positive experience, some have bad experiences. She was just scared because she didn't know what happened because it was an unprovoked astral travel. Something similar kind of happened to me once while I was also kind of like in a really bad state. I actually almost astral traveled. I actually snapped myself back because I did do a little bit of more training how to control this type of situation. And I was actually not meditating or anything. I was literally just dozing off to sleep. And it is a very scary thing because you feel like you can't move. It actually is very similar to sleep paralysis, but it's just like different. But I didn't actually go out of my body. I didn't achieve that part. I didn't want to. I just decided, I'm not gonna do this, and I didn't. Like, you actually have more control than you think you do. But let's continue.
I'm dead. Like, I literally thought I had died. I get back in my body and I stand back up, and I just remember I got up from the seat and I just start looking around, and my friend that's driving, he's like, are you okay? Are you fine? No. I think I just saw myself out of my body. I was meditating. And he was like, oh, you were meditating? That's why you were laying down like that? And I was like, yeah, bro, I just saw myself out of my body. I don't even know how to explain it. He just kind of like looked at me like, what? And he knew that I was feeling panic, because you can just see it in me that I was just like, whoa. So I start freaking out, and I'm trying to keep it like on the low key because I'm not trying to freak anybody else out, because I don't even know what's going on. In the middle of me freaking out, I start hearing all of these things in my head, and I just start feeling in my body that there was something in there. Like, I know that sounds so scary, and it's because it is. I would go from knowing what's going on to 1 second being so into what they're saying, what
Okay, so quickly she had an out of body experience and then she went in and out of consciousness in her waking reality. Yeah. Sometimes when you do astral travel, something can enter your body. It's not impossible. There are cases of this happening. It is actually pretty rare, but there are cases of this actually happening. So I'm not disregarding her story here at all. I just think it is a little bit strange. She was a little spooked. She's probably in shock right now. And let's see if this went on for a longer time period than just right after a few hours. Let's just see how long this actually went on.
I could only see darkness. And I just remember thinking like, oh my god, leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone. Like, I feel like I'm going crazy. And everything that I could hear was mocking. It would be laughing. It would be like
Mm.
they were demons literally laughing at me, and they would be like, "How we got you?" Like, I kept hearing, "We got you. We tricked you," and a lot of other things that weren't even verbal. I just knew that they were like happy that I had done all of this because it pleased them. Like, no matter how well I do explaining it or how much I try to let you guys know the way it felt, I would never be able to. It was so horrible, and it went on for 6 hours. I kept feeling this. I was just battling through some really bad demons, and I got to a point where I told my cousin, I need you to pray for me. Like, I know you are probably not anywhere close with God either, because we're both on the same boat right now, but I need you to pray for me. So she pulls me in and she starts praying for me, and she said the name of Jesus, you guys. And I'm telling you, I did not believe in Jesus, and I was just agnostic. So really, any God that was brought up, I was like, cool. But when she said the name of Jesus in the prayer, my body, she was hugging me, my body jerked. Like, my body went up, like it freaking lifted up. And I remember when it lifted up, I was like, oh my god, there really is something in me. Because when she said the name of Jesus, like something jerked in me. She can stand by this. She told me once everything had happened, she told me that when she looked in my eyes, that my eyes looked black. And guys, I don't have black eyes, I have green eyes. After I experienced that, I was like, okay, demons are very real, so God has to be very, very, very real. I just remember saying, okay, if there could be something that demonic, if there can be something that horrible, then there has to be something that can conquer them. And it was, and it is God, and it is Jesus, okay? Because during that time, had I gone to a doctor or had I gone to even my own family and started telling them, like, I feel this sort of way, I feel like there's something in me, they would have been like, you had to go to a mental hospital. Like, literally, they would have considered me crazy. Because a lot of people nowadays don't believe in the spiritual world. A lot of people don't believe in demons. A lot of people think it's just that you're mentally ill, and that's not true. You are battling with demons. And I'll put the scripture here that tells us.
Okay, so yeah, I completely acknowledge the existence of demons and the existence of God. This is a demonic thing. It was not a full possession, and the reason why is you can't just get rid of a demon that easily. What I hear is they were not inside. She thinks they were inside of her, but they were not inside of her. Like I said, sometimes demons can come in you when you do astral travel. I feel they were near her, like behind her, like around her. They were not in her. It's not that easy to get rid of a demon if they are inside of your body, and they do need consent. So I don't see where she gave consent of any sort here. So I feel like they were talking like in her ear, telling her these things, and she felt like it was in her head. And then, so yeah, I don't deny that this was demon. At the beginning, I thought just, okay, maybe spirit guides. No, yeah, it was demonic. It didn't really have anything to do with the New Age spirituality thing that she's trying to claim is what caused this. But I do think, using alcohol or psychedelics of anything of the sort, especially if you have depression or any kind of thing like that, is not a good idea. So yeah, let's see the prayer there. Or what is that? Yeah, it's like a Bible verse.
That. So sure enough, I started looking on the internet after that experience. I was just like, what happened? Like, what does this mean? I went on YouTube. I started looking after death experiences because I was like, do people when they die experience this? And a lot of people would say in their stories, yeah, I experienced that when I went to hell. A lot of people that have shared their story with after death experiences would relate to me without them even knowing, of course, because I would be like, whoa, they experienced that once they died and went to hell. So had I died, I would have went to hell, and that's how hell, that's like a little taste of hell that I experienced, but that's how hell is. And then I remember I would see how it felt when people went to heaven, and it was the complete opposite. It was like connection with God. While I was going through that, it was complete disconnection with the Lord. I couldn't reach out to him. I couldn't pray to him because I was so in the sin that I was in that I couldn't even call out to him. I was just like, I'm guilty of what I've done. And I was convicted the entire time. It wasn't until I saw this testimony by John Ramirez, and I'm gonna link his testimony down below. But once I started watching his testimony, I remember that everything he was talking about, the chanting, the way that he would get out of his body, the different things that he would speak and say for the world to do and for the demons to possess, everything that he just said, I was like, yes, this is exactly what I'm saying. The way that he explained how demons would visit him even when he wasn't channeling them, and how he would have different experiences of like getting out of his body and seeing visions and having these really vivid dreams. That's exactly what I started relating to. And in the same breath, that's when it hit me. Oh my God, Jessica, you've been doing a lot of things that are against God's will. You have been doing things that are tied with an occult. You have been doing things that are pleasing to these demons, that are pleasing to Satan. You have just been doing a lot of things that are just not in the will of God and that you shouldn't have done in the beginning. After I watched this video, I started repenting. I started telling the Lord, I was like, Father God, I would never do this again in my life. I am so happy that you have showed this to me. I'm so glad that you've shined light on what I had done. I just didn't know. I was so naive and I was so ignorant. I didn't have the spiritual guidance that I thought I had. Really, I didn't know anything. Oh my God, there has been a red cardinal. Is that what they're called? And he just showed up again, you guys. Every time that I pray to the Lord during the day, I see this bird. And it's crazy. And he's so close to my window. Oh my God. But I really wanted to share this with you guys because, like I said, a lot of people kept asking me for the link of my written testimony, and I just decided I should do a video for you guys. I hope you guys learned something out of this, and please don't be so stubborn and learn for yourself. Just try to learn from other people's mistakes. If you're doing any of this, you need to repent to Jesus right now. You need to let the Holy Spirit deliver you from that right now. You cannot keep doing those things. You cannot keep thinking that, oh, I'm Christian, I'm Catholic, I'm this, I'm Buddhist, I'm all of that. The reality of it is that you can only serve one God. You don't need any of those crystals. You don't need any of these astrology signs to define who you are. You are not that zodiac sign. You are not that energy, or you are not an indigo child. I'm sorry to break it to you, but that just needs to be told. God loves you so much, and you're rejecting how he brought his one and only son to die on that cross for you, to have an intimate relationship with you, and you are taking that for granted. You're just pushing him. You're being stubborn. He will give you happiness. He will give you joy. Cast your burdens on him. Give him all of the things that are troubling you right now. He can handle it, okay? There are certain things that we can't keep pretending like we're doing well at and that we're doing great at. It's not going to work out. And I just want you guys to know that. Like, I really want you guys to know that. He took everything from me that was weighing on me so heavily. My parents' divorce, every other thing that I'm going to share in my testimony. He took all of that away from me. I didn't have to carry none of that because it's not mine to carry, and it's not yours to carry either. I know this is kind of like a quick, short little rant, but I hope you guys have a really good day. I hope you guys get something out of this video. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and message me. I'll leave my social links below. Go ahead and share your experiences with me if you want to, if you feel comfortable. And if you have any other questions, you can go ahead and contact me. I'll do my best to answer your questions. If I generally don't know how to answer them, don't worry. Like, I'm not gonna pretend and be this person that I'm not. I'm gonna tell you everything that I know and anything that the Lord's telling me to tell you. I appreciate it if you watch this entire video. By the way, go ahead and give it a like, because look at my cat. She's pregnant. She stayed through this whole video. I know this is really random, but I'm just gonna show you guys my cat. This is Prego. Her name's Sammy, but she's pregnant. Right, Prego? Right, Prego? Aww. You are so cute.
Okay, so that was basically the end of this video of Jessica Joy. I will probably be doing more reaction videos of her, because she has a lot of interesting videos that I really feel I want to talk about. A couple of things I just wanted to say here. The thing where she gets these information and downloads from God and see the little bird is very similar to how a lot of people's spirit guides and things communicate to them and talk to them. And it is also, like, technically God is also a spiritual entity. Jesus, however, I do believe he is more like an ancestral spirit, because Jesus was human once, right? Now, I just think people in the Bible misunderstand this one little thing that I believe. Jesus was a human, and he tried to set an example for us to love each other as equal. Now, that means that it doesn't matter what religion or what beliefs you're in, everyone is supposed to love everyone equal. He was supposed to be an example of that. And he tried to show us that we are all part of God, we are all connected to God, okay? So technically we are all, made in the likeness of God, which means we are made out of the same essence that God is created of. Now, Jesus was God's son, but so are all of we, technically, according to the Bible. I'm sorry, guys. So technically, according to the Bible, we are all children of God, which means Jesus was not, above any of us. He was just like all of us. So people do put him on a pedestal, and I do understand why. I mean, he just tried to set an example and he got executed. So did a lot of witches, actually, and a lot of them actually didn't do any bad. A lot of them actually did things that's now considered science, things that they actually healed and helped other people, and they were demonized for that. So, yes, this was really interesting. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. I'm going to make a lot of more videos with her content because some of it's just really interesting. I really want to talk about it. I do have a lot of controversy on things she's saying, but overall, I just feel that it was not the spirituality thing that actually made her experience all of those things. It was her depression, along with the psychedelics, that evolved that. I mean, I've been doing this for years. I've always been a psychic and an empath since I was born. It runs in my family, being healers and things like that. So, if all of this was 100% all fact and truthful, then maybe I'll share my testimony soon then, which this is just sarcasm because I'm honestly just saying this is just her depression and her whole psychedelic thing. And I'm pretty sure the other guy's testimony she talked about, you can go check it out. I'm gonna link her channel down below. I'm pretty sure he's also had some kind of trauma or mental illness or depression or something of that sort. But for this video, this is all, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Hope you guys have an awesome day. See you guys in the next video. Bye!